Every 8 years, the planet Venus passes near a small group of stars known as the Pleiades. If you could step back and watch it over time, it would almost feel like the sky is keeping time in sync to a certain rhythm. But here's where it gets more interesting. Venus doesn't always pass close to the star system every 8 years or in the same position. There are periods where Venus passes very close to the Pleiades and periods where it is farther away or does not pass close at all. In other words, there are times when these alignments are active and times when they are quiet. This is based on an essay I found on an astronomy website that tracked the path of Venus through the Pleiades over a span of 382 years, from 1841 to 2223. Unfortunately, there is no name listed to credit the researcher, but the link is in the description below. So, to continue, from 1841 to 2223 is a total span of 382 years. Within this time frame, there are only certain years where Venus passes close to the Pleiades. But here is where it gets complicated. At the beginning of this timeline, from 1841 to 1980, there is a gap of about 140 years where Venus does not pass close to the Pleiades. The same pattern appears at the end of the chart. From 2084 to 2223, there is another 140-year gap where Venus does not pass close to the Pleiades. So, to simplify, the chart shows a long silent period at the beginning, followed by a concentrated sequence of alignments, and then another long silent period at the end. These cycles are not random, but follow predictable orbital patterns. The Venus-Pleiades alignment shows a rhythm. Now the question becomes, what kind of system behaves like that? Because this isn't just repetition, it's a rhythm that appears to turn on and then off. And right now, we are living inside one of those active periods from 1980 to 2084. Today, I would like to propose a theory about how time works. This is a research-based exploration, not something to be taken literally, but as a way of examining patterns. The idea is simple. What if every 8 years marks a moment where something shifts on Earth in a meaningful way? Instead of focusing on the long silent periods on both ends, we can focus on what happens in between. Inside those gaps is a concentrated window of time from 1980 to 2084, where Venus passes through the Pleiades in a steady pattern every 8 years. This creates a sequence of key moments, almost like markers across time, each one building on the last. Now let's briefly explore what was happening on Earth during each of these alignments, and whether any meaningful patterns begin to appear. If we follow this 8-year pattern through time, each point lines up with a moment in recent history. In 1980, the world was entering a new technological era, with personal computers beginning to rise. By 1988, global communication was expanding, setting the stage for the Internet age. In 1996, the Internet began integrating into everyday life. By 2004, social media platforms emerged, changing how people connect. In 2012, smartphones and digital networks became deeply integrated into daily living. By 2020, the world experienced a global shift during the COVID-19 pandemic, accelerating digital dependence even further. In 2028 and beyond, we move into projected years where trends suggest continued advancements in artificial intelligence and global systems. And because of current events around the world, a possible World War III is on the horizon, which will possibly give a rapid birth to a new digital stage. Now, when looking at the full timeline of 382 years, the true mathematical center falls around the year 2032, which may hold significance in the years to come. However, when we focus on the center of the alignment sequence itself, the central window falls between 2028 and 2036. In 2036, Venus comes within approximately 0.02 degrees of the center of the Pleiades, making it the closest alignment in the entire pattern. From this point, the years before and after are spaced evenly in 8-year intervals, creating a mirrored structure around it. When viewed this way, these 8-year markers become more than just dates. They form a structured timeline that may reflect broader shifts happening over time. Typically, within time structures and calendars, we see cyclical rhythms. With cycles, there is often a rise, where activity builds toward a peak, followed by a transition afterward. My theory is that the year 2036 represents that peak, when Venus reaches its closest alignment with the Pleiades. In this framework, April 4th of 2028 may represent the beginning of an 8-year death to the world that leads into its peak of April 4th, 2036. And when we talk about the end of the world, it doesn't necessarily mean the world will end and be no more. It can also mean the end of an era, a world that we once knew has come to an end. Thank you for spending time here at Relic Theories, where these theories are self-based researched for those with like minds